Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as education advisor, coming live again from the city of Hamilton, New Zealand, like every Tuesday, which is my routine and that of my team. Some of my other colleagues are also licensed immigration advisors like myself, and we love to come live on Facebook and YouTube, and we've recently started doing it on Instagram as well. So, a warm welcome to all of you, irrespective of which platform you're watching this on, whether it is Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. I have my laptop as well as my mobile phone running. The mobile phone is running my Instagram. So, a big hello to everybody from Instagram who has joined this broadcast, and also a big hello to everybody on YouTube and on Facebook who has joined this particular broadcast. I request all of you who would like to ask me questions to come to the Facebook AJV Global official page, which is you go to Facebook and simply type AJV Global, and that is where I will be reading most of the questions from. Because like I said, I am going live on three different platforms at the same time, and it will be amazing if I can get to read all the questions at one place, which will make it easier for me to answer. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And girls, and as is the norm from my regular broadcast, it's almost a tradition now because this is actually my 59th live broadcast. Well, so it's been a while, and it's been going on. It's been going on for more than a year, and really enjoy sitting here and talking to all of you about New Zealand education and migration and how we can create opportunities in this beautiful country. So, warm welcome to this session. I'm going to start off with my traditional display of my license, which is the license issued to me by the Immigration Advisors Authority of New Zealand. And this is a government body here in New Zealand, and their job is to ensure that when people like yourself who are seeking information and advice about moving to New Zealand on a temporary or on a more permanent basis, that you're being given this advice by competent and qualified people. And that is the reason they introduced something called the licensing regime. And to be able to get this immigration license, an individual will first need to pass a course. That is my certificate there, which is the course I had to undertake. It is called the Graduate Certificate in New Zealand Immigration Advice. And after doing that course, I also had to undergo police verification and a few other things to ensure that I'm of good character, so that I can sit here and be able to, give good, honest advice to all of you out there who are seeking opportunities in New Zealand. So that's the way it works. So I come live on Tuesdays, and my colleague Mary, who is also a licensed advisor, she comes live on Thursdays, sometimes on Fridays, but we are having more and more of our colleagues who are on the verge of getting their license, and more the merrier. And as we keep getting more and more licenses, there will probably be one AJV licensed advisor coming live every day, which means you guys will have access to the latest information from qualified, competent, and licensed people. And you can trust us to help you to reach New Zealand and do well here. Okay, excellent. Thanks as always for joining in. And of course, the big news is the just concluded Cricket World Cup, where New Zealand had with one of the craziest games I think that cricket has ever seen. And although we lost as a country because of the rules that are prevalent, I think New Zealand earned a lot of respect globally for the way they conducted themselves, for the way they fought, and the grit and determination and the graciousness with which they accepted their defeat. And so there have been lots of interesting memes going on around, of course, on the internet. And one of them says that England might have won the World Cup, but New Zealand won the hearts of people everywhere around the world. It was a very proud moment for me as a Kiwi, as a New Zealander who lives in New Zealand, and this is my country now. So it was a very proud moment as a Kiwi to sit and watch that fantastic game. So many congratulations to England, but very well done to the Kiwi team as well, to the Black Caps. I think they were a true epitome of what New Zealand is all about. Gracious and humble in victory as well as defeat, and which is what makes New Zealand one of the nicest places on earth, and which is why we invite all you talented people from different parts of the world to consider making this your home. All right, and if you want to do that, just speak to us at AJV Services, and we will be the people who will provide you. Let's get on with our question and answers today, and I can see that already a lot of my colleagues have joined in, and some of our friends and students have joined in as well. All right. So the first question is from Rahul Raghavan, and he says, "Kia ora, sir, client of AGV. I'm waiting for offer letter from ARA Institute of Canterbury. When will I get it? Any suggestions, sir?" Hey, Rahul. First and foremost, thank you so much for choosing to be an AGV client. As I keep saying in each and every session of mine, you are all smart young people who have the option of choosing to work with any company or any agency that you desire, but through your own research and through your powers of deduction and your intelligence, you choose to work with somebody like AJV, and obviously you perceive the benefits in doing something like that. And in doing that, you also give us the opportunity to work with all your talented people and do our best for you. So thank you, Rahul, for choosing us. As regards, when will your offer letter come through from ARA Institute of Canterbury, Rahul, I would suggest continue to stay in touch with the case officer or visa officer from the AJV team. And if you're still not happy with the feedback you're getting from that particular case officer or visa officer from the AJV team, request to be that you want to speak to the team leader, because the team leaders are in touch with the institutions. Like I said, I know you guys would love to get an answer from me, but because we deal with hundreds of applications, and next year we think it will go into thousands of applications, unfortunately, I will not be able to remember each and every single application, because of which, I will not be able to give you a straightforward answer to your question, Rahul. But talk to your AJV case officer, and if you're not happy with the response from the case officer, please request and demand and say, hey, look, I want to talk to your team leader because I'm not happy with the responses I'm getting from you. And these team leaders are ex-immigration officers and also undergoing education and training at the moment to become licensed immigration advisors. And they are the ones who are constantly in touch with the institutions, and they'll be able to give you an answer. All right, Rahul. So please go ahead and speak to your AJV contact person, and they will sort this out for you. All right, cool. Okay, Andrew Storms asks, "Hey, sir, I'm an AJV client. My class starts on 22nd of July. I'm thinking visa was allocated months before, but no updates till now. Sent a lot of my emails from my side and my advisor's side." Okay, Andrews. I mean, like you guys are probably watching my live broadcast for the past few weeks, and the ongoing issue is that there have been tremendous amount of delays from the immigration department, especially the Mumbai branch, which is where most of the applications are going. I have already been talking about it, and we still have some time for you. Today is the 16th, so we are pushing for it. Even yesterday, our country manager and our team leaders have sent further inquiries to the managers in the immigration department. I think that, as I've been explaining over the last few weeks, there have been quite a few things that have been happening because of which there is this delay. I mean, first and foremost, a lot of countries have been marked as high risk for New Zealand immigration, so they're taking longer to scrutiny. The number of applications have gone up. The staff strength has come down because they have, shut down some offices, and because of all this unfortunate coming together of different elements at the same time, there has been a pretty long and inordinate delay. Like I said, it is not something that AJV created. We are trying our best to try and address it, but there's only so much we can push with the immigration department. if they have decided to say, look, we don't care about how long it takes, but we will do full scrutiny. So please bear with us. Please be patient. Since we still have a week, we are pushing for it. I know for a fact that only yesterday, our senior manager in India, who is our country manager, who, by the way, is also an ex immigration manager, and she worked with the immigration department for a very long time, for 22 long years. And, between all of us, we are trying to get it, but please kindly bear in mind it's a government department, and the bureaucratic wheels turn quite slowly. So we're doing our best. Bear with us. We have got almost, I think, 75 odd visas for this particular intake. There are still about 25 or 30 applications that are in the pipeline. We are pushing for it. So kindly be patient and we will do our best for you. All right, Andrews. Thank you. Right. Okay. The other rule of the game, guys, girls who follow my live broadcast, is that when you ask me a question, I request you to either share your contact number or identify if you are an AJV client. Because again, not to sound selfish, but these sessions really are aimed at AJV clients and future clients. And so if you're already an AJV client, please identify, and I would gladly answer to the best of my knowledge. But if you're not an AJV client, we request you to share your number so that we can get in touch with you later and give you more information than what is available only in this live session. Talking about numbers, in case you guys want to get in touch with us, so that's where you can get in touch with us. Uh, Right. So those are our numbers and our email addresses. You can contact our team either in India or in New Zealand, and either one of those numbers will work, or any one of those emails will work. Andrews, I also just, Andrews, if you're still online and listening to my live broadcast, I also just got an update, Andrews, from our team leader side, that you also have received an extension from the college till the 5th of August. So that gives us an extra, breathing space. We will try and push and get it for you. Every day we are pushing them, but like I said, we have to maintain that balance of not pushing too hard, because at the end of the day, it is your application that should not suffer. All right. Thanks, Andrews. Cool. Moving on. Pawan Singh asked me a question, but unfortunately, Pawan has not shared his number, nor has Pawan confirmed if he is an AGV client. So I'm going to skip that particular question and I'm going to keep moving on. And if you want me to answer that question, Pawan, and also the next question from Jismi Steny, who also asked me a question but does not identify herself or himself as an AGV client, nor does that person share the contact number. So please ask your question again, but add your contact number and I will gladly answer your question. All right. So I'll keep moving forward in the meantime. So the next one is from Navneet Maini, and Navneet has shared the number. So I'm going to answer Navneet's question. Our question is, sir, please tell me the scope of cookery level 5 in Hamilton, and how good chefs are earning in New Zealand. Okay, Navneet, good question. The government of New Zealand comes out with something called the long-term skills shortage list, and those long-term skills shortage list are, of course, different occupations which are in genuine demand here in New Zealand, because as a country, as an economy, we are trying very hard to attract good talent into these particular areas, and chefs are also in that long-term skill shortage list now, and which is the best part about becoming. And why are chefs on the long-term skill shortage list of New Zealand? Because as a country here, we here in New Zealand rely very, very heavily on tourism. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, even right now, it is our largest industry at the moment. And because we have this millions of tourists coming into New Zealand year on year, whether it is summer or winter, doesn't matter. There are a lot of these tourists coming, and when there are these hordes of tourists coming into New Zealand, somebody has to feed them. So, and that's where the restaurants business do really well, and that is where chefs are doing really well. In fact, I own a property which is rented out to some people, and one of the persons staying there is a young Indian chef. And he is working in Hamilton, and he shares good information about the scope for it. I remember from my own experience of working with some of our students that they have who have come and done a cookery course here in New Zealand. They are doing exceptionally well. One of them, in fact, is now working for the New Zealand Navy, and he's a chef on one of the New Zealand naval ships. And yeah, pretty much everybody else is doing quite well. So good decision. And also, if you choose Hamilton, the city where I live, by the way, so warm welcome to good old Hamilton. The scope for finding jobs outside Auckland is as good as being in Auckland. And also, if you do find a job outside Auckland, please bear in mind that in future you're going to get more points towards your residency, which is a great big advantage. You actually get 30 extra points towards your residency. So I think it is a phenomenal advantage. So the short answer, Navneet, to your question is great course choice, good city choice, and yeah, absolutely. And the last thing you need to do is get in touch with us here at HJV Services, and or speak to our my colleagues when they give you a call and connect with you, because we would love to work with people like you. And what we do as an HJV uh, for all our AGV students is the moment you land, we have this strong onshore support. And that probably is what sets us apart from a lot of other companies, because what a lot of other companies do is they will help you with your admission and your visa. But once you come to New Zealand, you're alone, because those companies are not present in New Zealand. So that's what I think is the speciality about AGV services, is that we are not only providing very good service for all of you in your country while you're still there. But after you land here, our relationship grows stronger, and we'd like to continue to maintain that relationship with you, continue to advise you at each and every step, because it's just not just coming for the course. It is how well are you doing in the course, what happens after the course. We provide a free post-study work visa service to all our AGV students, while many other students are wondering how to do it. We provide it free of cost. In fact, we've just set up a nice big office in Hamilton, and that's going to be a walk-in zone for all AGV clients. You can walk in for coffee and free coffee, free internet, and free conversations, and lots of friendly banter. And we intend to set up these offices all across New Zealand. We're starting with Hamilton because we're based in Hamilton, and we'll keep moving to the other cities as well, including Auckland and pretty much every city. So that's our rollout plan. So yeah, if you guys really want to take advantage of a company that is based in New Zealand and has got a lot of competent, qualified, and friendly and frank licensed immigration advisors who will guide you at each and every step: studies, post study, work visa, when you find a job, what kind of visa to apply, and all that. We are the people you need to talk to. All right, guys and girls. So if you're really smart, you will choose the company that's going to stand by you throughout your journey. My clients from 15 years back are still my friends. And, of course, those days, they used to ask me about visas. Now they ask me about mortgages and how they can bring in their other friends or family into New Zealand. So yeah, we love to create those relationships and continue them forward for a very very long time. All right, cool. Abrar Kang asked me a question. Does not provide his number, so I will have to skip that. And then there is a question from YouTube. No name, unfortunately, but it writes, so I am from Nepal and I want to study in New Zealand. 12 pass out with GPA of 2.47 and IELTS 6, and overall and writing 5, and want to know about financial process. All right. Hey, look, your IELTS doesn't sound all that great, because but you're a 12th pass out and you're probably looking at doing a diploma or a bachelor's. So in that particular context, if I quickly look at the IELTS requirement for doing level 5 6 diploma or a degree at level 7, then you will require an IELTS score of 6 with no band score lower than 5.5. So there might be a slight problem with your IELTS, because you are having 5 and writing, so that might be an issue for you. So and about the financial process, of course, I will try and put it in a short manner in this session because I don't have a lot of time, so I can't get too much into the detail. But you obviously need enough money to cover your tuition and your living expenses. That's really what the Immigration Department of New Zealand is looking for. So that's about your financial process, and then there are only certain financial documents that they accept as proof that you definitely have these funds, and there are also only certain banks from which they accept loans and those kinds of things. So it's a lot of detail which I will not be able to give in this particular session right now. But as I told you, we have a super solid team of people working in India and in New Zealand, which includes licensed advisors as well as ex-immigration officers and very seasoned professionals in this overseas education and migration industry. We will be able to look at all the documents that you have and what else is required. But first and foremost, I think there might be a concern with your IELTS. So have a chat with our team and we will see how we can take it forward from there. But hey, look, thank you so much for asking a question from Nepal. And I haven't been to Nepal. Unfortunately, I hope to be there someday in my life. But we're also very privileged and honored to have a lot of fantastic clients coming from Nepal, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh. Of course, India is our largest source country at the moment for AJV and for New Zealand, but we are also blessed and honored to have our clients and students coming from China, Brazil, Europe, North America, Middle East, Southeast Asia. So we are practically we're catering to our clients from different parts of the world, and we request you, wherever whichever part of the world you're listening to this broadcast from right now, just get in touch with us and we will gladly help you to come to New Zealand and make a future for yourself here. Or if you just want to be here and enjoy this beautiful country and go back home with some amazing international education and experiences, yep, warm welcome to New Zealand. Haere Maiki Aotearoa, which is welcome to New Zealand in Maori. All right, cool. Let's keep moving forward. There is somebody called Jainish who asked me a question. No number, so I'll have to skip that. But I think Jainish is asking about the visa delays, which I have been explaining and in each and every session of mine. So Jainish, just rewind back and go to the start of this session, or go to my 58th or 57th or 56th live session, and it's pretty much all been about visa delays, and I've got into very very detailed explanation as to why it's happening. All right, cool. Okay, Ashok Pradhan asks me a question, share this number, and he says, hello Arun, can someone from arts graduate go for IT courses, level 7 graduate diploma? If yes, what are the job chances after completion from institutes like ARA, Otago, or Unitech? Hey, look, this is one of the better questions that has been asked today. Ashok, fantastic question actually. And I think it's a very, very valid question as well, because there will be a lot of students out there who might have done a particular level of study in a particular stream, but are now wanting to shift into some other stream, out of either a genuine interest to get into that particular stream, or because they perceive better opportunities in that. So, definitely, I mean, and the answer is actually in your question, Ashu, because you specifically mentioned the graduate diploma. And I find the graduate diploma as a very interesting course, because the graduate diplomas are actually intended for people who have questions like yours, which is I come from a particular background like arts, but now I want to shift into IT. How do I do this? And that the answer is the graduate diploma. The graduate diploma is meant for people to be able to do a crossover. So if you are an arts background student and you want to move into IT, a graduate diploma in IT is the perfect answer for your situation, because that's exactly what the graduate diploma was designed to do. So there's your answer. And so as long as you are a graduate, you will be eligible to apply for a graduate diploma. And the graduate diploma essentially helps you to move from one subject area to the other subject area. So which is fantastic. For instance, I have a background in commerce. In fact, one of my certificates up on the wall is my Bachelor of Commerce. and then I did a graduate certificate in New Zealand immigration advice. So my commerce degree and New Zealand immigration law were completely two different things. But by virtue of the fact that I was already a graduate, I was able to do this graduate certificate, which is also at level 7, and that's the way this graduate diplomas and certificates work. So, good question, Ashu, and we would be very delighted to help you to find the right one because you've also chosen three very, very good institutions. ARA, Otago, as well as Unitech are all excellent institutes of technology from in New Zealand, owned and operated by the government of New Zealand. So there's a lot of accountability, and there is a lot of credibility, and there is a certainty that you will come out with a good degree at the end of it all. What are the job chances after completion? I'll be honest about it. Just completing the course may not be good enough for you to be able to find a job right away, especially because you're coming from an arts background and you're about to switch over into computer. So you will have to understand the subject really, really well, and you will have to slog yourself in that particular course, and come out at the end of that year of the graduate degree to be able to say that, yep, I am a competent IT professional because I have gone through a very strong theory come practical kind of a training through the graduate diploma. So the chances are good because information technology jobs are in the skill shortage list of New Zealand. But of course, all jobs will depend on your abilities, your skills, your knowledge, and your attitude. And only yesterday, I was reading a very interesting report which talked about the employability of international students in New Zealand. And they said most of the employers suggested that the first thing they're looking for is the ability of the international student or migrant to be able to converse really well. So communication, the soft skills were considered to be of the utmost importance. This is a report that is available online. And the second thing they wanted was the ability for that person to mix well into that team because they did not want to create any kind of a thing. So I think the soft skills play a massive role. And because I think somebody said recruit for the attitude and train for the skills. So if you have the right attitude, which I think is the primary thing that most employers in New Zealand or anywhere else in the world are really looking for, they will recruit you for your attitude and then train you for your skills. But the fact that you will have a graduate diploma in IT will be a good starting point. So good choice. And we've had hundreds of our students who have done courses in information technology who have come to New Zealand and are very, very successful. We would love to, link you to them. We would love to connect you to them. Sure. So yeah, Ben, we would love to work with you and look forward to having you come to New Zealand as an AJV student. All right. Thanks for that question. Very good question, by the way. Okay. Somebody called Madicot asked me a question and no phone number there, but he does write. Hello, Mr. Arun. Though I'm not your client, I'd like to know usually what is the maximum time frame for a visa process. Well, they're asking you to file it at least 8 weeks before, so that's the kind of the expected norm at this stage. But I say, like as I've been telling in practically all my live sessions, because of certain other issues that Immigration New Zealand is dealing with, it probably is going to go a lot longer than the 8 weeks. So yeah, I would suggest start as early as you can. Okay. Deepak Kumar asks, Sir, my son wants to do mechanical engineering from New Zealand. What is the process and expenses? Can you please share details on my WhatsApp number? And he shares his number. Hey, Deepak, thank you so much for sharing your contact details and also asking a question on behalf of your son. We will be delighted to assist your young son to come to New Zealand for a mechanical engineering course because we are in desperate need of mechanical engineers as well, Deepak, and which is why we love working with young people like your son who want to come and do a course in our long-term skill shortage area. We can absolutely put him into one of the best institutions. As regards the process, we don't know what is the background of your son. We don't know whether he is somebody who's just finished his high school or his 12th or his degree. So depending on what his background is, we will, my team and very competent team of 35 people at the moment, and we are expected to grow to about 50 or 60 people by the end of the year. But yeah, we know we have your number. We will get in touch with you, get more details from you about your son, probably even talk to him ourselves, and then based on that, we will suggest which is the most ideal college for him, which is the ideal level of course for him, probably which will be the right specializations for him, probably because he comes from a mechanical background, maybe something in CAD CAM might be a good thing, as you know, CAD CAM is an integral part of mechanical engineering, like in, like other engineering uh, um, streams as well. So yeah, we would love to do that, Deepak. And but at a very broad level, I think you're doing the right thing by considering your son to come to New Zealand, because it's a fantastic country, safe and secure, welcoming. We have a shortage of skilled workers, especially in certain subject areas like mechanical engineering, and that is the reason there is a post-study work visa which can go up to 3 years. And the policy has been devised in such a way that some of our international students will go on to become our future workers and our residents and our citizens. So I think it's a beautifully laid out strategy and policy that will benefit people like your son as well as benefit a country like New Zealand. And I think that's the beauty of the system that has been created, and one of the safest, nicest, corruption free countries on earth. So, yeah, warm welcome to your son. And we hope you will also visit him when he's studying here in New Zealand. And I can see that you're quite concerned about your son because you're asking on his behalf. As a father, you will be concerned what's happening to your young child once he or she comes to New Zealand. And that is where you can safely hand him over to into the hands of AJV. We will be the family that he needs here in New Zealand, and we will take care of him. Not that they're little kids who need to be spoon fed or carried around, but it's good for them to know that there is somebody they can fall back upon, somebody older, mature, seasoned, experienced, and got the legal ability to provide good advice. In fact, if you watch my Facebook post, you will see that I think about a week and a half or 10 days back, I actually drove from Hamilton to a nearby city called Tauranga, where one of our young students, just like your son, in fact, even that young guy called Shankar, he came for a mechanical engineering course as well, and he was feeling a bit homesick. So I said, all right, AJV students are not allowed to be homesick. So I got into a car and I drove to Tauranga along with another student of ours from Hamilton. We spent a beautiful evening with Shankar, had dinner together, and gave him a lot of confidence and came back. So, yeah, if there are any parents watching this particular broadcast, please send them to New Zealand through AJV, and we will be there as their guardians, as their mentors, and as their guides and advisors here in New Zealand. All right. Thank you. I'm a father of three young kids myself, so I know what it means to be a concerned parent, and that's the reason there's a lot of emphasis in my company to ensure that all these young people are truly taken care of. All right, cool. Thank you. Next question. Pavan Singh. Hello, sir. I'm Pavan Singh. I wanted to know the scope for a 23-year-old female working as security officer in a leading aviation company. Pavan, I'm not sure what is, I mean, when you say security officer, it could be at various levels. Is it just somebody who's a frontline security guard, or is it somebody who, but at 23, I don't expect her to be, I mean, hugely experienced as such because she's, after all, quite a young person at 23. So I don't think it really matters whether she's a security officer in a aviation company. And I don't know what do you mean by scope. If you mean scope in terms of being able to find a job and settle down in New Zealand, I don't think she would be ready to be able to apply directly for a resident visa. Obviously not, not at 23 years of age, because at that age and with that level of experience, most people will not get the required number of points to apply for a resident visa. Uh, Finding jobs in New Zealand when you're directly not present here, and again at that young age, is almost impossible. And so that leaves only the last option, which is to try and opt for the study plus settle pathway. And If for this young lady, if her real passion in life is to continue in the security industry, there will be some kind of a course which would match her background and her interest. And as AJV advisors, we would be able to find that particularly right course for her and put her, get her enrolled into that particular course. And if it's at the right level, considering this girl is 23 years old, maybe she's already a graduate, so we can look at a postgraduate diploma or a master's, which means she will get a 3 years post study work visa. And that's how we create that platform from which she can kind of, go forward in her career and pick up a relevant job. And once you get that relevant job, is when he or she will most likely, almost certainly, get the required number of points to be able to make a resident visa application. And that's what I would recommend. In fact, that's the reason session after session, my team and I, we strongly propound the study plus settle pathway in New Zealand because it is a policy devised by the government of New Zealand, not only to earn valuable revenue for us through our education, high quality education, but we also want this high quality international education to become a pathway for us to address our skill shortages here in New Zealand. And that's the reason I think about 19-20% of students who come to study in New Zealand will end up in those relevant jobs and go on to apply for residency. So that's the way it works. So at 23 years of age, and irrespective of the background, I would say you guys and girls need to start thinking seriously about the study and settle opportunity. Yes, it is a lot of money. There is an investment involved in money, time, and effort. But hey, look at the other end of it. Everybody has to make an investment to get a return, and the return you get is that you get to live in one of the happiest places on earth. And really, you can't put a prize on that happiness, as a person who lives in New Zealand who's been living in New Zealand for many, many years and here with my family. Trust me, every day I count my blessings and I'm so glad that I live in this beautiful country. So that's the payback, that's what you get back for the investment you make. And yeah, sure, you might invest 25, 30,000 dollars, but you finish your course and you get into a good job that's like 8 months or 12 months pay, so you will be able to earn that money back. Okay, so you guys will need to think a little outside the box and don't think short term and think, oh, but I have to put in $30,000. Look at the longer term returns, and like I said just now, I can't put a price on the happiness that I get out of living in New Zealand with my family, knowing we are all safe, secure, welcome, wanted, able to continue with our careers and our businesses, and yeah, have a great life. Really, that's what it is all about. And no snakes in New Zealand. What more can you ask for? Kinjal Patel. Kinjal says, how many more days for student visa file launched on 5th February? But in future, I want to proceed from AJB only. Hey, Kinjal, thanks that you want to proceed in future with AJB only. I'm not sure about how long your I think the way they are determining the student visa applications is based on which there is a system called triaging, which is an internal system of immigration New Zealand, where they kind of allocate I think the kind of a processing prioritization that can be done for different applications. So I mean, and so whether your application comes to the top of the pile and gets faster processing will depend on which course you're going for, which institution you're going for, which city you're going into, which agency you're applying through, which is your company. Where does that agency have a good track record? For instance, we at the moment have about 95% success rate. Last year, as per the published data from INZ, which is Immigration New Zealand, we had about 91%. So this year we worked very hard to push up that 91% to about 95%. So, they take into consideration all those different things. So I have no background about your application, Kinjal. So which college, which university, or which city, or what course, or what level. So you just have to wait it out, I guess. And if you were an AJV client, we would have tried to, push and get some answers like how we're trying to do for everybody. But yeah, all the best, and look forward to helping you once you reach New Zealand. Just get in touch with us. If you reach, you can reach our teams in India or in New Zealand. We are also setting up an office. In fact, today was the first day of the office we have set up at 426 Victoria Street, Hamilton. So it is shop number two. The building is 426 Victoria Street, Hamilton. And soon you're going to see some AJV boards out there. And we are very, very excited. And that particular office and all the ones we're going to set up in future in all of the cities across New Zealand are going to become also hangouts for all our AJV students and clients who can come and walk in and have a free coffee, free internet, free advice, free friendship, free humor, and just hang around with us, and we can all have a good time together. All right, guys, cool. And if some of you coming to New Zealand as AGV students and clients want to do some internships or get some experience working in an office in New Zealand, we could potentially create those kind of possibilities for you as well. The other thing we do for our students, of course, is that we provide them with a local reference in New Zealand from day one. In fact, just yesterday I personally wrote out a reference for one of my students who completed the course in business and is now looking for jobs. So one of the employment agencies, she gave my name as a reference, and that employment agency wrote back to me saying, "Hey, look, this person called Rina has written to us saying that you're her reference. Can you give some feedback?" So I gave some feedback. Why? Because Rina also did a project for HIV, on customer satisfaction. And as part of her studies, she did this project for us. And because she did this project for us, she did that temporary work for us at HIV. So I was able to give a reference, and hopefully Rina will get a really good job. And yeah, so those are all those things that we at HIV are trying to do, is to create those hangouts for you, provide those references, create those networking opportunities. Sometimes it's not business, but we all just get together, have dinners together, and just network, meet, make new friends, have some banter, and just have a great evening. And we love to. We in Maori there is a word called whānau, which is family. So we are creating the AJV whānau here in New Zealand. And I think at the moment I think we're hitting at least 95 to 98% happiness in this whānau. There will be some people, of course, no, who are having some challenges, and they probably will not be very happy. But we'll try and do our best. We can't please everybody all the time, but as much as humanly possible and as much as organizationally possible, we are trying to do our best. All right, guys. So if you're really, really keen to have some good, great, honest, friendly support in New Zealand, please come to New Zealand through HME. Okay, cool. Okay, Arun asked me a question, which is again same. How long is visa processing taking? Okay, right. Neeraj Bhatia says, I'm in touch with AJB. I have been working with the bank since Jan 2015. I feel very skeptical, though, to come to New Zealand to do a postgraduate diploma in finance because I just don't see a possibility of PR. Then you should not be doing it, Neeraj, because if you are already skeptical before you come into New Zealand, uh, I think you were probably starting off on a reasonably negative sort of note, and and as much as New Zealand will provide opportunities, if you're right at this stage before you even have gotten into the country, if you already have negative connotations about the country, I think probably it is not a good idea for you to do it, because one of the things that is very, very important and required for every person who contemplates going overseas, not just in New Zealand but to any country, because you're leaving the comfort of your home, and the place where you were born and brought up, and your family and friends and everybody's around. One of the most, and I've been to three different countries. I have lived and worked in the US, I have lived and worked in UK, and I have lived and worked in New Zealand. I must tell you that it is never an easy task. There will be people who will make it sound like it is the easiest thing on earth, is to go somewhere and somebody will throw a red carpet and things will fall into your lap. It does not happen like that, guys and girls. It is a hard grind. It is not easy, and I keep telling people, it will take you at least 5 years before you feel that you really belong to this new place where you have transplanted yourself into. So that is the way it is going to be, Neeraj. If you are saying that I don't see the scope for a PG, then you're for a sorry for a future permanent residency in New Zealand. I think you are being very negative because I personally know I've been around in this industry for about 15 years. And uh, while it is a lot easier for people coming from technical backgrounds like engineering, IT, animation, cookery, for instance, some of them I think it's a lot easier because they're clearly defined technical jobs and opportunities. But for people coming from, let's say, a commerce kind of a background or a finance kind of a background, I would agree it is not an easy job. But hey, look, I'm also a commerce graduate. I don't have an engineering background or an animation background or one of those technical backgrounds. But I got my residency. I did not come to New Zealand directly on a resident visa. By the way, I came through some other pathway myself. And so if you do not discount what you can do, I think, and like I said, what is very important, Neeraj and everybody else listening, and is not so much the subject area or because although yeah we have something called the long-term skill shortage list, it does not mean that there are no opportunities in commerce or business or finance or trade. And those of there is a requirement in everything, but in certain areas our requirement is very acute, and that is why we have created something called the long-term skills shortage list. But to say that, oh no, there is no, I don't see a scope for finance people at all in New Zealand is very wrong, because I work with two different chartered accountants here in New Zealand for HAV services. They advise this company, and both of them are not New Zealanders. Both of them are migrants who came just like myself and thousands of other migrants to New Zealand and acquired a finance degree and went on and are now practicing as chartered accountants. So to say that you don't see a scope is just your personal perception, but also I think it's a very narrow perception, because unless and until you come into New Zealand and give it a good solid what do you call chance of a good solid effort in the direction of establishing yourself, I think it's kind of uh, uh, how do I say, not right to say that I don't think New Zealand is for finance people. So it's your choice, of course. If you want to consider coming to New Zealand and or still want to give it a try, do it if you're confident. Because, like I said, going abroad and settling down takes 5 years. So you need to be patient. You need to be persistent. You need to be courageous, and you need to have tons of mental strength, because there will be days and moments where, for every migrant, whether you're an international student or coming on a resident visa, every migrant will have those moments and those days where they will think, was this the right thing that I did? Did I do the right thing? Did I let go of something really comfortable and put myself into a bad situation? And a lot of people go through this. I went through that. But as the longer you stay and the more established you get, your mind starts going the other way. Then you start saying, my God, how can I go live anywhere else other than New Zealand? So you eventually reach that stage. So, but to get there, it will take some time. Today, in fact, I was speaking to somebody and said, you can't throw in a seed and expect to eat the fruit in a week's time. You'll have to wait for that seed to grow and mature into a nice big tree. And all those things take time. So if you're patient, persistent, have the courage, have the attitude, especially, I think you will do well. All right. So yeah, sorry about that little speech, but these are all my own experiences being in this industry and as a migrant myself. And today, I swear, I will not be able to go live anywhere else, including the US and UK, although I was there before, because I'm just so used to and the comfort and the joy of being in New Zealand that I don't think I would call any other place home. But it took me a while to reach this particular point. So, that's what you guys and girls will need to do is hang in there, give it some time. And you are all young people, you're all you're talking to a 50-year-old guy, but most of you will be in your 20s or early 30s, so you still have a lot of life to live. So putting in 4 or 5 years of investment to find that happy spot by the time you're early 30s or mid 30s, I think is a fantastic thing to do. So please go for it, because you have one life. Live it well, be happy, guys. See, I'm not saying you'll become a multimillionaire. That's for you want to become a massive multimillionaire, maybe you need to go drill some oil wells in the Middle East. But but you really want to have a good, happy, honestly happy life with your family and for yourself, do consider New Zealand. And yeah, there are, and if you're smart, yeah, of course you can make money as well, but here we really don't care whether you're a millionaire or not. For what we care about is our personal happiness, and if the rest of the society is living happily as well. That's pretty much it. Okay, cool. Okay, Deepak Srivastava says, "Hi, Arun. My wife has applied for level 9 course in Auckland through HAV. Thanks, Deepak. I appreciate that. And wanted to inquire for my path to get residency. I'm working as software developer and reputed employer with 8 years of experience, which seems skill shortage skill. Can you guide me to know path to residency when I will try on parallel finding during my job center to residency when I try on parallel during my wife education tenure. HAV consultants suggest me to just get job in 4 years working visa and apply for residency, but I don't get proper such route in New Zealand immigration side. Could you please elaborate here? Thanks." And Deepak has shared this number. Deepak, it is quite simple, Deepak. I mean, you're doing all the right things, and I'm so pleased to see my team has advised you the right way. You're doing all the right things. Your wife is coming for a level 9 course, fantastic, which means you will come here on a work visa, fantastic. You already have a background in software with 8 years, fantastic. You are and you work in a very reputed employer, great. So you have all the attributes. You are going to be present in New Zealand while your wife is coming as a student, and you're going to be present in New Zealand as a person with the legal right to work, and you have skills in one of our long-term skill shortage area. You've written your question very well. I see no spelling mistakes there. I don't see any grammatical errors there. So your English obviously is very good. And I'm sure your spoken English would be as good as your written English is. So you have all the right ingredients, Deepak. And you've done everything well. I'm so pleased to see that my team has advised you to do exactly the right things. All you've got to do is get in here, but don't be in a rush. The first couple of weeks, 2 3 weeks, just take your time, settle in, take a deep breath, enjoy the beauty of New Zealand. And because you will get a job, you will go back to work and all that. Get in, take your time, take a deep breath. You and your wife settle in, have a good time. Come meet us in Hamilton, or we will come to Auckland, or wherever you're coming to study. We will come and see you there, and we will all meet, catch up. We'll help you to network, do so. And then you start getting out onto the into the job market and start applying. And with the kind of skills you have, I will be very surprised if you don't find yourself a good job very, very soon. I think in about 3 to 4 months' time, I see you, and we will also connect you to some of our existing clients who have also come. And in fact, if you go back to the Facebook group, you will see that I recently posted saying one of our HGB clients is buying his first house, and I took his email address and email, and of course I removed all his name and his wife and kids name, and I pasted it there. So the shortage for IT personnel is very high, and you seem to have an excellent background. I can see quite clearly what's going to happen. You will find a job in about, I think, in 6 months' time. I think you will reach a point, even before your wife finishes her course, you will find a job which will be $52,000 or above, 100%. And you will give us a call and say, "Hey, Arun or Mary, I found my job, and it's more than, in fact, I strongly see you'll be more around the 75, 80K job." And you'll give us a call and say, "Let's start my resident visa application process." And we can start your resident visa application process even while your wife is still a student, because she's a separate applicant, and she came separately as a student applicant, and you came as a worker on a work visa. But when you find a job and which is above 52K or above, absolutely we can go ahead and apply for your resident visa, and your wife will become the co-applicant in that particular visa. And if things go well, before she finishes her course, both of you might be residents in New Zealand. We have seen these things happen. In fact, I can't remember the name of that particular student, but exactly similar situation. She came for a course. The husband came for. I remember she came for a course in animation. Husband came here. He also had a similar background, very good software development background, and he came within 3 or 4 months, found a fantastic job with a really good pay, applied for a resident visa, and got it before the wife completed her course. So, absolutely possible, Deepak. And I think one of the smartest things you guys have done is to choose to work with us because uh, as I was just saying, Deepak, it's not an easy journey, and to be able to have good, proper guidance throughout the journey, you need to have your advisor with you constantly, and which is my grouse, to be honest, with a lot of these companies in India and in other countries, which help people to go to some other foreign country, is they only help them while they are still in their country. But what happens after they reach that country, nobody seems to care or nobody seems to bother, which is what I did not like as the person who started this company. And I said, that is not right. It has to be done the right way. We not only help our students and our clients while they're still in their country of origin, but especially more after they come to New Zealand, because this is not your comfort zone. And this is where you really require those friends and those mentors and guides and advisors. And that is what I think is really making us so popular. Every day the number of people inquiring is increasing dramatically for us, and that's the reason our team size is growing. And I think we are doing it the right way that this particular business has to be done, or the right way this particular service has to be performed. So I'm glad you chose all the right ingredients, Deepak. And I think the last thing which is very important is I hope you also play cricket because I'm a big cricket guy. And if you're also a good cricket player, then I will also try and get you into the AJB cricket team as well. All right, that's our deal. But hey, good choices all around. I think you guys will be just fine. Okay, cool. All right, Jitin Prasad asks a question, but there is no number, so I'll have to forward that, or just keep moving ahead of it. I mean, not forward that. Manna Suket. I'm not sure. Not sure. Okay, Jitin, I just got a. Sorry. I was about to skip Jitin Prasad's question, and quickly one of my colleagues typed saying, Jitin is one of our clients. Please answer him. Sorry, Jitin, I didn't read that. I was, as I'm coming to the end of this session, and I think my energy levels are coming down. But I didn't read that last bit which said you're an AJV client. My apologies about that. These sessions are meant for you people first, for our AJV clients first, and then for other people. So, yeah, Jatin, here is my answer to your question. And your question is, I'm looking forward to joining Wintech for February 2020 intake. I currently work in UAE. So by when should I be back to India and resume my job? Okay, excuse me. Jitin, if you are uh, planning on coming to India and resigning your job, I think you need to start your process as early as possible. No harm starting it a good 3 or 4 months before the start date. So if your course is starting in February, I would recommend you try and start it by October of this year, October, November. And the earlier you get your approval in principle, you have the guarantee, you have the certainty that you're definitely going to New Zealand. And that is when I would recommend that you go and then you resign your job for in UAE or India or wherever it is that you're going to be doing. But till then, I don't recommend you should do it. So what I would suggest is you start your application process at the earliest. I have been told by my team that you're working with Anne D'Souza, who is one of my colleagues and one of our visa officers. She's a brilliant professional, so she will help you to put it all together. So the moment you get your approval in principle is when I would recommend that you must resign from your job, Jitin, because sometimes, no, yeah, we all work with good intentions and honorable intentions, and we all want it to go well. Sometimes, life has its own way of dealing with things, and so I will not recommend you to resign or move away from your job till we have the approval in principle in hand. And for that to happen, the earlier we apply, it would be the best thing for you. And I'm glad to see that you're already in your visa documentation stage, which is what the update is from my team. So yeah, all the best, Jitin, and I look forward to seeing you here in New Zealand soon. February 2020 is not that far away, people. So anybody who's planning to come to New Zealand in 2020, now is the time. You need to start moving immediately. Don't think, and especially with the delays that have been occurring with immigration department and their restructuring and the delays in the visa processing, I would strongly recommend, do not wait till the last minute. Let's start early. We have a big, large team of professionals who are absolutely capable of taking on a very big load of applications. We will put it in. Immigration department says that we need to give them minimum 8 weeks. So let's file our applications 12 weeks ahead. And the moment that 8 weeks is over, we will have a legitimate reason to keep knocking on the doors of immigration and saying, we followed your rules. You said 8 weeks. We have put it 12 weeks ahead. There are still 4 weeks left for the course to start. Can you do something about it? That'll give us the strong grounds for us to go and knock at the door and say, hey, look, you've got to do something about it. But all the time, we are working as an organization to reach out to various officers in the immigration department of New Zealand and assure them and tell them that, hey, look, we are not pulling in the other direction. We are there exactly to do the same thing which you're doing, which is to attract good, high, top quality talent into New Zealand who will go on to become our future workers and residents and citizens of this country, and avoid working with anybody who is a risk to New Zealand, either through fraudulent documents or wrong intentions or fraudulent financial documents or academic documents. An absolute 0% tolerance inside AJV for people like that. We will not work with you. We do not want to work with you. If you come to us with a fraudulent document and we realize it is a fraudulent document, not only will we refuse to work with you, we will also report you to the immigration department of New Zealand. So yeah, that's the kind of work that we do because we are about making a better New Zealand and our the future of our students and our clients, and creating happy employees within HFB. And through all these things, I'm sure we will also end up being a very profitable company as well. All right, guys. So that's pretty much the philosophy on which this company exists. So I have a feeling I am done with my time. My team normally either they are completely mesmerized by my wonderful silken voice, and which is why nobody is telling me the time is up. But about I think the limit on my throat is about an hour. It begins to give up. But I'm going to answer one or two last questions. But as is always my tradition, there you go, ringing the bell to say time is up. Uh, Awesome. And my team is still not saying time is up. They're just going on telling me that somebody else is also our client. So it looks like these guys want me to go on today for a long time. Okay, I'm going to jump a couple of questions to Ishan Arora. Ishan is one of our clients, and that's the reason I'm jumping to your question, Ishan. Oh, my colleague Jyoti just woke up. She said, time is up, AJ. They all call me AJ, by the way. So you guys can call me AJ as well if you want. So Ishan Arora asked, which campus is better for early childhood education course in New Zealand? Ishan, I don't think it is campus centric. Doesn't matter which campus it is. I think what's important is the papers in the course and the reputation and the credibility of the institution that you're going to go to. And as a company, as an organization, AJB does not work with any institution or represent any institution which is not of the standards that we want for our students. So absolutely, yeah, I don't think the campus really matters, Ishan. If at all you want me to say, no, no, you have to tell me a campus, then try and pick a campus that is outside Auckland, because what happens when you study outside Auckland is that you begin to grow roots in that, like how I have grown roots in Hamilton. I don't actually feel very comfortable when I go to Auckland because it's not my city. I don't live there, but I feel very, very comfortable in Auckland, in Hamilton. So likewise, if you have an opportunity of studying in a campus outside Auckland, try and go to that campus because you will start growing roots in that new city. And when you start growing roots is when your networking happens, and then you will end up getting a job in the same place. And as you know, immigration policy states that if you find a job outside Auckland, you will get 30 extra points towards your residency, which is a phenomenally high number of points towards your residency, and which will definitely push you over the threshold of 160 points. So purely from that angle, Ishan, I would say choose something outside Auckland. But if you have family, friends in Auckland and you want to go there, no problem with that either. But if you go outside Auckland, it will also fit in quite nicely with the policy of the government of New Zealand, which is trying to kind of, take some people out of Auckland and start putting them into some of the other cities and regions of New Zealand. All right, guys. So, okay. I'm going to stop it here now, and I can see that there are still quite a few questions at the bottom, which unfortunately I am not able to answer in this particular session. As I said, normally I am able to answer up to about an hour of questions. After that, it gets very tiring for me and my poor throat. So have some uh, pity on me, people. But I will come back again next week. Next week, as always, and very exciting. But I might actually be coming live from our new office here in Hamilton, and we are waiting for the internet connection to kick in there. But yeah, more than likely next week I will be coming live from my new office here in Hamilton City, and which will also become the hangout place for all our AJV students and clients in Hamilton and Auckland and anywhere else. You come to Hamilton, there's a place for you to come and get free coffee, free internet, free conversations, free advice, and lots of laughter. All right, guys. Oh, well, lovely as always. Thank you so much for being patient and listening to my, big discourses on New Zealand education and migration. I love doing this stuff. And yeah, look forward to continuing to do this. Today was my 59th, so I'm getting there. 60, and maybe I'll stop after 100, but at the moment I really enjoy sitting and doing this. So till the next time, bye bye from Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed immigration and education advisor for New Zealand, and good night. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.